So, as we jump in, remember that the significance of the number 7 to this book is a complete, perfect, lacking nothing. It's a full set. You have 3 sets of these 7s, is how John is going to tell this middle part of the story, which will actually lead in also to the beginning part of next week's scriptures. You have first the 7 seals, the first thing that comes to us in this middle part about the unfolding of this revelation or this panoptic vision, where he sees each of the 7 seals representing roughly a 1,000-year period. Keep in mind, these are probably not to be interpreted literally as exactly 1,000 years down to the day. They're just, 1,000 is a fascinating number. Why? Because it's using another one of those significant symbolic numbers to the Hebrews, the number 10, which represents a totality. Remember, last week we talked about this. You have 10 fingers. You have 10 toes. 10 is a very round number. It's this total, complete number. And if you multiply 10 times 10 times 10, it's a superlative of totality. It's an absolute beautiful, complete number, this 1,000. So symbolically, you have 7 seals, each representing a totality of a totality of a totality of events that need to take place within that time frame. So that's where we're starting.
It's like concluding a chapter. Can you imagine if you were reading a book and you finish a chapter and moved on to the next chapter, but then suddenly the first chapter intruded on the second chapter? You'd be completely confused about what's going on. So again, each seal is like a different chapter of God's work with humanity on earth, and that he will complete each of the 7 chapters. And we can totally trust he knows exactly where the story is going and how it is concluded, and nothing will be commingled inappropriately.
So as you get through the 7 seals, watching time march forward, then you get to the 7th seal, and in the 7th seal, you now get introduced to the next set of 7, which are the trumpets.
Remember last week we talked about noise in the ancient world typically signaled that God is arriving to do his work. Now, typically we want to see the positive aspect of God's work, but sometimes God has to act in certain forms of justice that to us might seem a little scary. But the trumpets are like the mentioning of 7 trumpets is that God is fully arriving to cleanse the earth and prepare it for his full return.
And so as you get through, we'll cover the 7 trumpets. And when you get to the 7th trumpet, then it introduces the next set of 7, which are the 7 vials, or these 7 containers with 7 angels that are going to pour out what is in their vials onto the earth. This is not a literal interpretation. It's very symbolic of John trying to describe how an angel has this capacity to create certain consequences, as Taylor's talking. Some of these justice is being served in the form of a symbolic vial being poured out. So this will begin the set of verses or the set of chapters that are covered in next week's lesson.